sort of been cheerleader for us since the beginning 3 years ago. And today we have Domi from, I guess you're in Netherlands right now, but you're originally from Brazil. Actually, Domi, we were looking at your name and saying Domi Hoi. Probably Hoi is not her last name. Hoi is hi in Dutch. So, anyways, we're happy to have you with us. I've had a lot of exchanges with you online. I know you are a language teacher. You're trying to give a little bit of the culture of Holland, German, which you already also know, and Brazil. It's hard to pick out the Brazilian from you. I've seen your World Cup posts and stuff like that. You're happy that your team is progressing to the next round. So in any case, happy to have you with us, and you know, for you to be part of the global Langfest family now. Welcome aboard. Langfest is an event, I guess it's been taking place for a couple of years now. This is our 3rd edition. It's held in Montreal. It's a festival that brings people from all around the world. As I was explaining to you, polyglots like Benny Lewis, Richard Simkrot, Simon Ager. We've had people from everywhere that have come. Some of the people that you see sometimes that you follow on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, we got the chance to meet them in person. It's a pretty fun event. It lasts about a week. There's a lot of social events, but there's also language workshops. There's some more academic type conferences and presentations on languages and linguistics and everything that has to do with that. For us, it's a great opportunity. We're very happy to have gotten the chance to be the organizers of this event. And throughout the organizing of this event is when we met really incredible people like George here, that was featured a couple of years ago in the newspaper when we discovered him officially. He speaks like, how many languages do you speak now, George? Officially, what's your number at? So I think it was like at 15 or something like that. But either way, he's a phenomenon. We're not all like George, but you know, we get the chance to exchange and people like him that have, let's say, it's a little bit more easy for them to acquire languages than it is for some of us. And we can learn some of his tricks and things like that, and getting the chance to exchange with people sometimes is cool. You're you're part of the language online community. You know how it is. We know people from all around the world. We learn, we exchange with them. We talk about languages. We help each other up on tricks and tips to learn languages and things of the sort. But getting the chance to meet together a couple of times a year at those types of conferences is really fun. For me, it's been a life-changing event. I think it has been for everyone that's ever been involved with Langfest. And, you know, we're glad that you are here with us and we can talk to you about Langfest, but also learn more about you and some of the things that you do. You seem to have quite a following. I don't know for how long you've been doing this now, but I saw you have on Instagram, what is it, 4,000 or 5,000, more than 5,000 followers now, 5,376. I'm one of those 5,376 persons. And it's pretty incredible. How did you start all of this, Domi?
Actually, I did some internship in Germany during my bachelor because I'm a scientist. Wow. I don't have I didn't study anything on languages like linguistics or something like that. But I always studied languages, so I learned English and Spanish when I was younger, and I was always fascinated by the English language. And then I got this internship in Germany, and I could not speak any German. So this was 8 years ago, and I suffered a lot at the start because some people told me, they speak English, so go have fun. but in the end, I had to learn German. In 1 month, I could learn the basics at some German school at the university, studying a lot. It was really an immersion in the language. So, and I went back to Brazil to finish my studies, and I kept studying German, and 4 years after I came back again to Germany. And during this time in Brazil, I was also teaching German, and I really loved the language a lot. And for some irony of the destiny, I met my husband in Germany, and he is Dutch. And then I moved to Holland, and now I had to start all this journey again. And this. And this thing with the Instagram, I created the Instagram just for fun, and I noticed that a lot of people had problem with German. They could not understand the grammar, or they could not pronounce correctly, and they were sending a lot of messages trying to interact, and I just started to teach the language online through Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Making stories or making some short posts with some tips, some crucial tips for some verbs with dative, with accusative, and some prepositions. And then the thing was growing. And now that I'm learning Dutch, I just put this language there, and more people are following. And what I noticed is that we don't have good resources in Portuguese for Dutch. So then
probably Dutch not as much. Yes, German more, but Dutch not as much, I would assume.
So I started giving tips, and it increased I don't know. I was really shocked because it started with my friends following, and in the end was just. Domi, can you please post about this and about that? And I cannot pronounce this. Can you teach how to pronounce that? And it was like, I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. And now I am I'm tutoring for German language. So I help people, mostly Brazilian people who are living in Germany. So they struggle a lot with the language, and I try to teach in a really cool way for them to feel comfortable with the language, because I think most of the people, they just think German is difficult and that's it, and it's done, never gonna learn it. And the proposal of my page is just to show that it's possible. If I could do it, you can do it also. So it's really, for me, it's really amazing. The Instagram and the community there, the polyglot community is huge. So I'm always in touch with a lot of different languages, because I studied also other languages, but my focus now is for Dutch and German, because then I can also make posts, and I can have some basis to teach them. But I love languages, so now I'm trying to learn Russian, but it's quite difficult. But I'm really going for it, because it's what I love to do.
So what about science?
Oh, science!
Is that out the window?
It's there. Science is there. But I don't know. Science brought me to Germany, So it's like thanks to science. But in the end, I just discovered that my passion is another thing. So now I'm working as a teacher, as a tutor.
Really? Wow, that's an interesting story.
But German, English, little bit of French, and he's learning Portuguese. But he's not into the language like I am. So,
So by default, he will learn Portuguese eventually. I guess when you go to Brazil, it can be very useful for him. Have you visited Brazil with him?
Yeah, actually, no, not yet. But he doesn't care too much about learning Portuguese. But I'm always there trying to help, and sometimes I just start speaking Portuguese because sometimes we miss our native language, so it's really...
That's cool. So let me just try to look at the math of this. You met your husband 4 years ago, pretty much around the time when Brazil got destroyed by Germany in the World Cup game, and you became friends. I'm kidding. That's great. That's great. It's a nice story.
But now Germany is out of the war.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, doesn't.
Okay. So it's very good that you know, you're witness to the fact that the polyglot community is very, very wide. It's global. There's people from all around the world that follow you on the.
And it's always, and it's growing. Like in my Instagram, I don't even give tips for Portuguese, but I receive a lot of messages from people who are learning Portuguese because the tips I give in English and Portuguese, because then everybody can understand. But a lot of people write me like, "Hi Domi, my Portuguese is improving," or "Oh my God, it's so amazing to hear Portuguese every day. Thank you for this opportunity." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm not even teaching Portuguese here."
It stopped.
Yeah. But
so,
it's
George,
really cool.
you learned Dutch and German just like Domi. Did you find that there was a lot of relations between the two languages?
Oh, actually, my story with the languages is quite long because I started learning English. Then I learned Spanish because my mother tongue is really similar, Portuguese, Spanish. Then I tried to learn French, 10 years ago, but I gave up because not for me. The pronunciation for me was terrible at the time. But then I went to Germany, I learned German, and in Germany I learned Italian. I could study Italian there, but now I'm living in Holland, so now I'm learning, I'm up for Dutch. But I think the relationship between Dutch and German and English, it's Dutch, it's quite of, it's a mixture of German and English with an easy grammar, basically, because...
Yeah, true. I think Dutch grammar is easier than German grammar.
The pronunciation of Dutch, it's really hard if you are not used to this guttural and to all these strange sounds that Dutch language has. But the German is quite easy to pronounce because you pronounce like you read. And of course you have this, all this sounds also, but it's easy if you practice. But
so Dutch pronunciation is harder than
the German pronunciation. And the grammar from the Dutch language is super easy, but the grammar for German, it's hell.
It's harder, I think, because there are cases and things like that, but in Dutch there are no cases. So
no cases. It's just the feeling. If you know the articles, it's done.
Really?
But of course, the structure is the same from German and Dutch. The verb at the end and all this. Heb gekocht, heb blah blah blah. Like ich habe gemacht. The structure is the same, so it's quite easy for me. In the beginning, it was terrible because I was always changing all the names. I was always speaking German, thinking I was speaking Dutch. But with the time, I could, my brain was worked out to separate this. Now I have a space for Dutch. Yeah. The beginning is always difficult if you know, even
when you first learn a language, it does that.
Yeah.
So when I first started exchanging with you, Domi, you had told me, well, you discovered Langfest because you didn't know anything about Langfest before I spoke with you about a month ago. But you also didn't know about the Polyglot Conference or the Polyglot Gathering or any of these big events that are happening closer to where you are. So
I heard about the polyglot gathering, but it was really late. Like because the propaganda is not so good. I think I don't know.
It never is. We even for Langfest, we try very hard to send out the message that we are
When
here.
I posted on
like
Instagram,
that.
some people they wrote me a lot to know about the event and everything, and I said check on Facebook on the webpage. But yeah, I really think you should. Publish it.
Thank you for any visibility you help give us.
Yeah.
For us, it's a question of just reaching out to people all around the world and letting them know that we're here. It's a very worthwhile event. Once people come, it's like the language bug. Once you start learning one language and then another language, then you always want to learn. You always want to be in an environment.
Yeah, it's a construction. Now, when you learn one, then you learn the second, and then you learn the third, and then you are learning 10 languages, and you are, oh my God. It's just
then you know,
keep this connection
between
in your
them.
brain.
Then
So
George can talk about it.
So are you connected with any of the more famous, I guess, the more well-known polyglots, like the Richard Simcott, like the Benny Lewis? I mean, this whole polyglot community. So you've not really been exposed to that?
No, actually, I know the one polyglot from here, from Netherlands, the Wouter. Wouter
yes,
Contender.
I know him.
What's his name? Wouter what?
He's really funny. Yeah. And I know
I think
I know this girl's links.
Like
Wait, I didn't hear.
Yeah, I heard about him that I think he is, or he used to be, was it like an artist or a fisherman, something like that?
He painted.
And then he.
Yeah.
Oh,
a
yes,
painter.
yes.
Yeah, he had
He's
people
quite
from
spontaneous.
all
He's
over the
always
world
talking
their
to
languages.
everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about here. He is really funny. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
So I know the Asren. Don't know if you talk his name like that. The Indian polyglot. I think he lives in Canada.
Asren. Oh yes, Asren is going to be presenting at Langfest this year. He came last year also.
Yeah, he's
and
pretty.
I think they're also friends on Facebook.
He's pretty active on Instagram.
You're a virtual friend.
Yeah, he's always making lives
with your virtual friends with Camila that we had an exchange with a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago.
She's also in Holland or Belgium. Camila?
She's in Netherlands also.
Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah, the community is really big.
It is. It's getting bigger by the day.
Yeah. So I know this year you can't come to Langfest because it's too soon for you, but we hope that maybe in the future we can connect with you and see you in person. It'd be fun to have you with us.
I will work on my weak languages too.
Yeah. What is the background of your name? Domitila?
This is Portuguese.
Domitila is Portuguese?
Yeah, it's a Portuguese name. It means the woman of the house or something like that. I always thought this name really strange, but when I grew up, everybody said, it's such a nice name.
It is a very nice name. I've just never met a Domitila.
Yeah, so now I like the name, actually. But when I was younger, I always got trouble with it. But it's Portuguese.
It's a Portuguese origin. You're 100% Portuguese.
It was the lover of the emperor. I don't know how to call this guy. From Brazil, from Dom Pedro. She had this name. But yeah.
So that was the inspiration for your parents. That was the inspiration for your parents.
Yeah, I think my mom just thought it was nice. But, yeah.
That's cool. So, what's next for you? What are you looking to do? Keep on growing your community?
Actually, I'm trying to, like, my goal now is to get the certificate for German and Dutch, because then I can, because I have already for, but I don't have the C2, no, I have the C1, and for German, but I want to keep teaching German and Dutch, because now I'm teaching Dutch, but for the A1 and A2, because I don't feel confident to teach higher levels. But I want to learn a lot of languages still. And,
Yeah, once we start down the road, we're stuck. We just got to keep being immersed in languages forever. That's how it is.
yeah, I want to bring French again, to give it a chance, because
French is a beautiful language. You should give it a chance.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love French. I love French, but I really can't speak it. It's my trauma. I don't know. I need a good how do you call it? A good push to
yeah.
me back.
But sometimes some languages, like Superman and his kryptonite. I often say German is my kryptonite. I can't get myself wrapped around it.
Because at the beginning, German was really difficult for me. Really difficult. I was desperate. Oh my God, I'm leaving Germany. I cannot even say goodbye. And nobody can speak English to me. And my first experience was like, I was walking, and then I found some old people, and then I said, "Hi, where is the university, please?" And they were like, and they let me alone, and I was, oh my God, I have to learn this
Really? I thought all Germans spoke good English.
I had such a terrible experiences in Germany. After the first month, I called my mom and I said, I want to leave this country. Nobody. It's terrible. And then the second month, I was like, oh my God, German is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just the way you immerse yourself. Now, if you learn a language thinking, it's too difficult, you just open the book and it's, I'm never gonna learn this. You should be positive also about it.
Yeah, so you went from completely saying, I will never learn this language.
Yes, I went really down.
That's it.
Yeah,
and now you're a teacher of German.
I never wanted to learn German. It was by accident, because I got a scholarship. And then my professor just said, no, go to Germany, because there they speak English. And then I just was in Germany without speaking German. I could not communicate. And I was visiting the supermarket to hear the numbers. I was trying to talk to people at the street. Yes, it was terrible for me in the beginning.
So what was your approach to really break the ice and get yourself at least semi-conversational?
When I could ask for ice cream, it looks really stupid, but I just could go to the supermarket and ask someone to look for something, or when I went to buy something, and I could say, no, this is right, or can I pay with card, or can I do this or that? Because the secret is you should allow yourself to make mistakes, no? So if you want to learn a language without making mistakes, without making any mistakes, you're never gonna push yourself to talk or to
you have to be ready
yourself.
To get out of your comfort zone.
Yes, because for me it was always a problem. When I came back to Germany on the second time, I was always like, oh my God, everybody's gonna judge me when if I say some verb with, with dative, but the verb asks for accusative, and then if I say, ich danke dich, if I say if I said this wrong, I was in my mind, oh my God, they're gonna crucify me or something like that. But what helped me a lot was to talk.
But I think I have it down. I understood.
So when you
started learning by ordering ice cream.
Yes,
is that it?
Like
one little success at a time.
Yes, so you can buy ice cream, you can buy a sandwich without something, food basically. Food helps me a lot. But what helped me to leave this this comfort zone was to talk, because I was always afraid to be judged. So it was really, for me,
I
it was
think it's
really
a very
bad.
common thing.
Yeah.
People,
So
when they're learning a language, they have to be able to go through that.
Yeah, I think in my brain I just have a box for corrections because all the time I was talking and then they were correcting me. I was every time correcting myself, and this was good for me in Germany when I was in Germany. And yeah, I think you should allow yourself to make mistakes and immerse in a language and listen a lot. So if you listen a lot, you're gonna improve your speaking, and that's also a good way. You should also know what you want to. What's your thing with the language? You want just to communicate? You want to write, to speak correctly? Because some people, they just want to communicate. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. They just want to say some small things and it's done. Like, hi, how are you?
That's a great point. I think you first need to know why you're learning a language.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
there's no right or wrong. If you really
Yeah.
if you want to become an interpreter, it's a different way to learn. If you
Yeah.
want to just order beer, it's a different way to learn.
Yeah.
So
Most of my students, they lived in Germany. I have, I think, 4 students. They lived in Germany for some more than 10 years, and they cannot speak correctly. So after 10 years, they found a teacher online, me, and they said, Domi, I cannot use dative. I cannot use accusative. I don't know how to talk. My kids are growing up in Germany. I cannot even write a message in the agenda for the school, and I really need to learn. So now after 10 years, kids are already 9 or 10 years old, and they need to learn. So at the beginning, they didn't want to, because maybe they just want to say hi or bye or just basic
Mhm.
things.
So it's great when you're in a country, mostly if you're living there,
Yes,
to be able to express yourself properly, communicate. It
yes.
helps you in many aspects, not just in
It's
exchanges that you
also
have with people,
a
but
way
for work and
to
everything.
Yeah, it's also a way to show the native speakers that you are giving some effort for that, no? Because
Yeah.
they, like a lot of Germans, they always said, your pronunciation is nice, keep doing it. Oh, it's not so good, but you can improve. It's
Yeah,
always
exactly.
really nice.
So you're not going to be able to come to this year's Langfest, but I'm going to say the dates anyways in case you change your mind or you find it out. August.
I found
Langfest
some.
is from August 21st to 26th
Yeah, sure.
this year.
Count on
It's
me
going to be held
for
at Concordia University,
publishing.
and it's going to be really cool event. There's going to be people from all around the world that are going to come. We have some German teachers that you probably know that are going to be coming. For her, it's going to be the
I
first
saw
time
the
also.
Anya, no?
Yeah, learn German with Anya.
Anya.
Yeah, I follow her a lot. When you were
Yeah,
learning
she's
German,
really
probably you
cool.
followed her too.
Yeah, she's really nice.
So she's like you. She has never been to an event before, and she's coming to Langfest for the
Oh my
first time.
God.
I think
Okay.
George told me about her originally when I was learning German, trying to learn German a few years ago.
Yeah, I think I told you about a few other channels as well, but yeah, I think I remember telling you about that, like mentioning it while talking. Yeah.
No, there's
And
a
it's a
few
really
very
great channel. I
popular
enjoy
channels.
watching her. I think she.
Yeah, and her videos are really full of expression. So it's always like it's in your head forever.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Yeah,
Really,
and you really have to pay attention because she speaks fast in her thing.
yes.
At least she puts the subtitles. Sometimes you look at
Yeah.
I gotta put it back, listen to it again.
And she's
That's
really
what
used
she would
to
say.
speak fast in English and in German, really fast. Like she's always like this and that and blah 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 and that and this and blah blah blah. It's really
It's
cool.
going to be a fun event. It's going to be from August 21st, 26th. We don't have any announcements yet for next year, but usually it's always the last week of of August.
Mm-hmm.
if you can make it in the following years, we'll be very happy to see you.
Yes,
In your case, it's
I will try. I'm trying to join the community. Like just.
It's a pleasure for us to have had the chance to talk with you, Domi.
Thank you so
very
much for taking the time.
Yes,
Come on the
so
channel.
much.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm
We're
always
running
here,
out of
so
time.
when you need, just write me.
We'll keep in touch. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Have
much.
a great day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Cheers.